Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our new edition of Big Brother 23 live feed spoilers with special guest. Well, I don't even know if she's a guest, with Coco Vanderwolf.
Our boss.
Yeah, that's actually more of the case.
No. She's no special guest. She's our boss who has a boss new haircut. She is fresh to death. She has not had a haircut outside of the home haircut in like a year and a half. So today she went to the paw spa. Over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV, I've got pictures of before, which is looking pretty raggedy, and then afterwards. It's quite something to see. I didn't actually realize how bad it was until I put those pictures together today, and I was like, ooh. I'm sorry, Coco.
It is basically Coco's edition of when I was a Beauty and the Geek, we had a makeover challenge. Let me just put it this way. Coco's makeover was much more dramatic than any makeover I got on that show.
I disagree.
Okay, well, that is my take. And in this video, you'll get our take on the aftermath of the Power of Veto. Yep. There's a couple of things going on. We will all try to understand what is going on in Brent's head.
Also, thank you to everybody who let us know that there were issues in our last video with the mics.
Yeah.
We just bought brand new mics and we're still trying to figure them out. So whenever you guys hear anything, if you feel that you want to tell us, we would appreciate that because it helps us figure out how to do this properly, what you guys are hearing. So that was just sort of a cleanup on the audio here.
Yeah, we really appreciate it because we want them to sound as great as humanly possible. I mean, that was our whole purpose behind getting the new mic set up. So we're going to keep working with it. And thanks for your patience and your feedback.
Yes, thank you.
And also, hit that subscribe button because we have a lot more Big Brother stuff coming. And also, we're discussing Animal Kingdom later tonight here at the channel.
Yes, we are.
All right, so if you guys missed it yesterday, Christian has won the Power of Veto.
Yep.
What is he gonna do?
Okay, so far he is not using it. Nothing has changed. He's decided not to use it. It seems like Brent still going right now, but it's only Sunday. I still feel confident he's gonna go.
Yeah.
But I mean, there is time for things to change. It's just that usually depends on the person trying to change them. And the problem is that Brent hasn't made a lot of friends in this house.
You know who else is confident? Brent, who is confident about his ability to stay in the game, which is going to be a huge, just like, wah, wah, later in the week when he realizes it's not happening.
Yeah.
Okay, Brent does have some concerns here. They're not the concerns you would think, but they are concerns. Mm-hmm. He is worried that Christian and Xavier are going to put on, I guess, their own devil horns here and conspire that they're going to replace Brittany on the block with someone who is more likely to stay versus him. So he's really worried about this sort of like crazy plan going down.
Yeah, which is really like kind of cuckoo to me because we just watched Frenchie go up against Brittany and Frenchie went out the door. Brittany is clearly proven to be somebody that you don't want to be sitting on the block against because then you're likely the person going home. Like, why would she not be the target last week and all of a sudden she's the target this week?
It's a weird, I don't know, it's like counterintuitive because Brent seems to be so sold on this idea now that Brittany is like the head of this women's alliance and such a big threat. And he's like, okay, you're trusting Xavier on that. And yet you're also at the same time not trusting Xavier about you being a pawn. Like, pick a side if you're going to go down this wrong rabbit hole, Brent.
Yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, like you have to have a bit more proof of what is sort of going on. That's why I'm saying like Brittany up last week was a safe choice to get Frenchie out because nobody's really coming for her. No one was really targeting her. This week, same kind of thing. Yeah, she's upset that she's on the block and she's been feeling kind of crappy about that, but that's not enough to be like, oh, she's a problem now all of a sudden. She hasn't really done enough to be a threat for Brent to be worried.
Here's our second concern that Brent has here. He's very worried that once again, Xavier is going to go to his own team and Alyssa and Christian and Sarah Beth and be like, we have to evict Brent now, and just the hilarity and the logic that, like, the idea that Alyssa, Christian, and Sarah Beth would need convincing in order to do this.
Yeah, this is where we're sitting on this really weird island with Brent, that he legitimately just can't see what's in front of him in the game. And I don't know if it's because in his real life he has a job where he's really social with people and people are really nice to him, and he's, you know, I would like to think nice to people, since he's in a very social job and he's sort of around the world, and it seems like lots of ladies like him and everybody likes him, that he just honestly can't see when he's in a situation where, I'm not saying everybody hates him, but that people are not actually on his side.
I am just socially, I'm so disappointed in Brent's game, because I thought, you know, if there's anyone who's going to understand patience and understanding after the last 12 months, it would be a flight attendant. Like, you know, this man has probably put up with a lot of stuff.
I also just thought his social game was going to be so on fire because of that he would flirt his way to the end. He'd just be charming, charismatic. Like, it would just roll all the way through this game. It's surprising that it didn't work out like that.
Okay, here's something else, though, that I'm also disappointed about.
All right.
The idea that Brent's team may tell him his fate right before the eviction. Have you guys not learned from James and Big Brother 7? I think it was, I don't even remember seasons. It was 17 or 18, whatever. But James was going around and telling everyone they were being blindsided right before they were being blindsided.
It can cause some interesting drama right before, to be told right before you're getting evicted. I mean, we kind of saw that happen last season, right at the very end, when Cody decided to take Enzo to the end. It was like right before the commercial. Nicole was okay. Back from the commercial, you could tell that she was told, and she was pissed. Like, It was entertaining.
Okay, if you're going to do this, if you're going to be Cody, be Cody rather than James, because at least Cody had the common decency to wait until the live show was on, seemingly, before breaking the news, and at least then we got to see. For everything we've put up with Brent on the live feed so far, in between, you know, how he's treated Alyssa, how he's been condescending, I need to see him stewing in his own just anger and upset during the show.
Well, it's still a lot left before we get there. I feel like things are gonna get worse for him before they get better.
Okay, so we'll jump off of Brent Island here for a moment and talk a little bit about Brittany. So we haven't seen the nomination speech yet. I'm assuming, of course, we'll get it on tonight's episode. Yep. And she is apparently not happy with what Xavier said during that speech, and she wants some sort of apology for it.
I think it's difficult because we don't know exactly what he said. We haven't seen sort of the context in the way he's saying something, because it's one thing to have something said, but without the context of sort of like why he's saying it, how he's saying it, you know, in which way it's coming across. You have to look at more than just what the words are. The words are important, but the context behind the words are also important. So until we really know what or how it's said, like, it will tell us something tonight. I mean, the show's heavily edited, so it's going to be kind of whatever story they want to tell us. But clearly, Brittany is either in her head about stuff and she's reading into things, which happens all the time in this house, or he has said something that really, really hurt her feelings.
Yeah, and I think it's hard to judge without hearing the speech. And even if Brittany sort of knows a little bit about what the plan is and the idea that, okay, Brent is really the target and, you know, we have to sell this speech, like, there's a difference between, like, being told, okay, you know, I gotta sell this speech to make Brent feel okay, and then, you actually sort of hear the speech, it's sort of like you going into a roast and you know that you're going to be roasted. And then like somebody goes up there and just says something like really egregiously horrible. And you can't believe it's like, how dare you make fun of my dog? And that is like the thing that like sets you on fire.
Yeah, it may have not only been that. Again, we don't have enough sort of context of what he said, but not everyone is in on exactly what he was going to say. So that to Brittany doesn't know everything.
Yeah.
So she may also be worried. She's already been on the block once last week.
Yeah.
Now she's going to be on the block again this week. And then he says whatever it is he says to people that she's not working with that don't really know her that well yet. He could have gone up there and been like, you're a snake. We got to get you out of the house. And then people she's not working with are like, oh, okay, well, we better pay attention to that. It could have really set her up for just kind of failure next week.
I feel bad for Brittany, and I'm not the biggest Brittany fan in the world. Like, I don't necessarily find her the most entertaining, but it's just like, you've been on the block 2 weeks in a row, like you said.
Yeah, I feel bad that she's been on the block 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna, the jury is still out right now on whether or not Xavier crossed the line, because I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what he said. I don't know what the context is. I need more information.
So, as we sort of look ahead now, that's really, I think, what a lot of the next few days are going to be about, looking ahead, because I don't see Brent making a whole lot of traction here.
No, maybe a couple meltdowns. Who knows? We'll see.
But, Alyssa's clearly just already done, like, the bye Brent in her head. She's already figured out exactly what she wants to do moving forward.
Yeah, she's looking, if she ends up winning HOH, she wants to put up Whitney, she wants to put up Hannah, and then if she has to, she will use Azza as a replacement.
So Whitney, I don't know if she's consensus target, because we've heard about some people going after Alyssa next week, depending on what happened, but everyone is already seemingly kind of formulating, okay, this is the scenario where we could get rid of Whitney. This is how we could get rid of Alyssa. And I kind of want to get to this point now, because I'm a little worried that the feeds are just going to go to a halt to the next few days.
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I'd like to see more conversations like this. I really like gameplay, people who are thinking ahead, and that they're not just like, oh, easy week for the rest of the week. Brent's going to go on Thursday, so I don't have to do anything until then. And it's like, it's only Sunday. Like, you can still be getting ready to move forward in the game. And Alyssa already formulating what's going to be kind of the plan next week. This is why she is dangerous. Yeah. She has a good crew of guys around her, and she's thinking ahead.
Yeah. And we've covered how far we think Christian would probably go for the sake of her game. Like, I'm already very worried that Christian is going to be like that sort of guy if the two of them are on the block and like somebody else wins the veto. He's like, use it on Alyssa, don't use it on me.
Oh, God.
Brace yourselves for that, everyone. Like, she's already, she told him about her final two with Brent. And
With Brent!
Brent! I had never heard the name of it before, but apparently it's called the Sewer Rats, which, by the way, I have a lot of feelings about the Sewer Rats as an alliance name.
I don't know what is going on. Clearly, it's not real. It was never real. That's what you're going to name your final two? Get out of here.
Yeah, so that's just like, don't name yourself after something unpleasant if you want to be a good, successful alliance. It's like, I liked Sitting Ducks. I think
unless you're Master Splinter.
Yes, unless you're Master Splinter. And in which
then you can be a sewer rat. That's, cool.
I would love it so much if somebody had an alliance that was like the Ninja Turtles, but, come on, CBS Legal Department. You would take that away from us so fast that I would be so disappointed in all of you.
Yep.
Okay, now we have to do a record scratch on Alyssa here now.
Yep.
She told Brittany she's frustrated because people are linking her to Christian.
No, she is linking herself to Christian, and Christian is linking himself to her. You can't do that. I understand what she's trying to do. She's trying to be like, okay, I like this guy and I'll flirt around with this guy or make out with this guy, but I don't want anyone to know about it. So it's kind of like oh, I hurt my back right before a competition, pretendinitis.
Yeah.
And so now it's sort of happening again where Alyssa's kind of like, oh, I don't know why everyone's linking me to Christian. It's ridiculous. Or it's kind of like, okay, you stop. Just stop.
Showmance? What showmance? There's no showmance going on in the game right now.
No. I think she and Christian think they're being slick about it when they're not.
No, this is Frenchie is quite possibly one of the most unaware people in Big Brother history, and yet somehow he was even able to. Maybe Frenchie is really bad at everything other than like showmance radar, and that's like the one thing he's really good at.
He called it.
Yeah, he called it even before a lot of us called it. So there you go, Frenchie. That is your actual legacy in Big Brother.
Yes.
All right, well, before we wrap everything up here, we'll do a little bit of alliance talk, because trying to figure out, like,
my favorite thing.
A million alliances, everyone!
Yeah, this particular season, normally I'm like, okay, there's a couple of alliances to follow, but there's so many alliances, fake alliances that are falling, like, it's just so much that this season I'm kind of like, okay, I'm done with the alliances. Just give me the few real ones and let's all move on here.
Yeah, because it's like, the Cookout is probably the most legit alliance that we have. Like, we did talk a little bit about some tension within it even yesterday.
Yep.
But now we have the Royal Flush. And I would say we have the Sewer Rats is like down here when it comes to legitimate alliances.
Yeah.
Cookout's up here. Maybe it's like somewhere in the middle. I think some people may take it like kind of sort of seriously.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Royal Flush, it is the Queens, so Kylan, Claire, Tiffany, the Kings, which is Christian, Alyssa, Xavier, Sarah Beth, and then you're sort of throwing in Derek X as well. This was previously called the Royal Family, and I'm guessing CBS was like, no, you can't use that name.
Yeah, probably, and that's fine. It's all sort of, this alliance is just so massive that it just... it's kind of in the middle. It'll splinter off into some smaller pieces next week.
It's like, this is how flimsy this alliance already is, where they're kind of already considering who they have at the bottom of it. It's like, you guys just came up with this a few days ago, and now you're already like, this is the first person who needs to go.
Yeah, it's not a good sign if you're already getting ready to sort of cannibalize your own alliance.
Derek X supposedly is kind of at the bottom of this.
This poor guy's at the bottom of everything, no matter what he does. It sucks.
And apparently it's just because he's kind of close to Hannah. And it's like, Big Brother, this is like the one showmance I have kind of legitimately rooted for in years. I kind of think that they're adorable. I actually want to see this happen.
Listen, it's not because he's close to Hannah, because he wasn't close to Hannah when he was getting targeted week 1, day 2, day 3. Like, there's always a reason. So whether or not he ended up in this completely adorable, wholesome romance with Hannah or not, they would find something. Like, it just feels like people have been looking for something and someone to sort of put the target on, and it's been Derek.
I'm to bring out my fan fiction pen at this point.
Yeah.
I really want to write the story of Derek X in the final 2 at this point. Not just because I like him, but also just because what an amazing underdog story this would be. Like, we're in the midst of Olympic season right now. So this would be like that country that has maybe like 1 or 2 people from it competing in the Olympics, going out and like winning all the gold medals in those sports.
The problem is that because so many people have had sort of this very standoffish attitude towards him, I worry that he just, no matter what he does, because now it's been like over 2 weeks and he's been able to sort of win some people over and, kind of make some amends with people for stuff he hasn't really done. Like, I just don't know if he would be able to secure actual votes at the end of this, or it'd be like, oh, good for you, but you're not winning.
That is the great, exciting mystery of it all. This is why we need this to happen, and it's at least nice to have a mystery, because there's no mystery right now this week.
No, all there is really listening to what people's gameplay might be going forward, which is, stuff that I really like. So bring it.
Yes, and we will be here to discuss all of that moving forward. So let us know what you think could happen. Does Brent have any options at all share in the comments. Subscribe to the channel. Check out our review of Power Book 3 Raising Canaan from last night.
That show is really good. I know that we say this all the time, but it is really good. It's been a very long time since I've seen a pilot for a show that just like grabbed me like this.
Yes, it is really good. Do check that out. Thank you guys for checking this video out, and we'll see you here next time.